Paul Lake comes in for Ian Brightwell, a substitution that was effected on Wednesday against Middlesbrough, and up front Tony Adcock retains his place due to the injury to Imre Varadi. Michael McDonald is the man who's taken over at Huddersfield just recently. He's been in charge at Leeds Road for just over a month. Last time these two sides met here at Main Road was in 1984 when City won by a goal to nil. Graham Baker scoring the goal on that occasion. And the Blues not winning a home game here at Main Road in the league for just over a month. I'm sure a 1-0 scoreline will be satisfactory this afternoon. The referee is Robbie Hart of Darlington, late replacement for the original referee, who's got an injury. So Huddersfield Town get us away in yellow and black check shirts, very similar in fact to City's away strip. City's away strip being red and black. And early touch for Eric Nixon, who's played his way very much back to form in the Manchester City side of late. Clements with the ball forward. Andy May getting an early touch. Stewart. Neil McNabb. Stewart already a marked man. Very much an on-form player, Paul Stewart. 8 goals already in the league this season. Long kick by Brian Cox. Hinchcliffe. He's cut out by Walford. Winter. Simpson tried to flick on then. Cork. It's Kenny Clements sweeping up at the back. The City skipper. Gidman with a long ball forward and an offside flag against Paul Stewart. Shearer calling for the ball. Adcock involved. So too is Andy May, and this is Banks. Cross coming from Winter. Julian Winter, the 22-year-old, to take the throw himself. There's Shearer. Now David White, in the thick of the action, gives away the corner. A packed goal mouth for this corner. Near post, headed away. Chip back in again. This time it's headed away by White. And the shot fired in high and over the bar. No real threat from that one. Julian Winter. There's a header from Webster. May with the ball forward. Cox after it. And he's got in behind Redmond. Well, Huddersfield Town nearly opening the scoring. David Cork, the former Arsenal player, was inches off target with that one. He got behind Steve Redmond, hit it first time, and that was just inches past the post. So a good start by Huddersfield. Certainly that would go down as the first real chance of the game. But City trying to respond. Kenny Clements getting his head there first, ahead of Shearer. Bray looking for some support from the throw. He found it in Andy May. And the free kick for the foul on Winter. Banks involved, but it'll be Steve Walford to take the free kick. A long ball forward. Paul Stewart of all people back there helping out. And competition from Mark Barham. Stewart turned inside one man, but he couldn't get past Brown. That time it was an offside flag against Cork. The ball forward by Redmond, but it's cut out quite easily by Brown. Malcolm Brown has made more than 350 appearances for Huddersfield Town. Although he did have a spell at Newcastle United. Here he is with a free kick. Redmond's header. Well, City need a spark at the moment. Huddersfield, it has to be said, slightly on top at the moment. Cork. Shearer. This is Barham, but the ball hits Hinchcliffe and he recovered well to make sure that the ball didn't go for a corner. Cork once again trying to twist inside Andy Hinchcliffe. He gets the corner, which Barham will take. Simon Webster's up there in the box. Over comes across. It's headed away again by Stewart. Andy May has a shot. Back out to May again. Determination from Shearer. The ball going straight to Clements. And immediately City turn defence into attack. Stewart gets past the full-back. Checks inside another player. Lake, Adcock tries the back heel, and an escape for Huddersfield Town. But the danger's not over yet. Stewart on the end of Hinchcliffe's cross, but it's hooked away. And City beginning to come a little bit more into this game now. Slightly shaky start by them, but that must go down as a real chance. Here's McNabb. Looks as if he'll try one. And that's a beautiful goal from Neil McNabb. Neil McNabb's first goal of the season. Last time he scored was from a penalty against Watford. And what a sweet left foot shot this was. He doesn't get many goals, Neil McNabb, but when he gets them, they're usually good ones. And so slightly against the run of play, City take the lead. 13 minutes on the clock. And that's given the City supporters something to sing about. It's Huddersfield immediately trying to hit back. Given for the Blues, White on the overlap. Gets the cross in. No trouble for Webster. John Gidman, the experienced right back. City with a core of midfield, central defender and full-back experienced players, and he picks out Paul Lake, it was, with a shot. The ball ricocheting off a Huddersfield player for a corner. Steve Redmond and Andy Hinchcliffe, as you can see there, the two City players staying back. Everybody else has pushed forward. Over comes Simpson's corner. It's hit by Redmond, I think it was, who pushed forward at the last minute. Now it's Brown charging forward for Huddersfield. Cork's ahead of him. Banks was calling for the ball as well. This is Cork. Brown. And an offside flag against Mark Barham. £100,000 he cost Huddersfield Town from Norwich City. Tony Adcock looking for his 100th league goal of his career this afternoon. And this time the free kick given against Paul Stewart. Paul Stewart, a very determined player, done well in his spell since he came here from Blackpool. Back by Webster. Long ball forward by Cox, beating everybody and going through to his counterpart Eric Nixon. White got the touch. Bray. Once again, the competitiveness of Paul Stewart very clear there. Banks. Huddersfield struggling to get the ball away at the moment. But now it's Shearer. Clements wins it back for City. Cork. Barham. That's a cross in. Here's Cork. And Clements with a very timely interception. David Cork had a chance earlier in the game, but that time Kenny Clements stuck out a foot and got it safely back to Eric Nixon. The cross came over from Barham, chested down perfectly, but Kenny Clements was aware of the danger, stuck a leg out. Andy May, determination written all over his face. Keen to do well on his return to Main Road. Stewart still going. And City winning the ball back through sheer determination. And the ball drifting over the bar on that occasion from Neil McNabb's cross. Neil McNabb, of course, scoring the goal for 13 minutes. That separates these two sides at the moment. Stewart going up with Walford. Walford one out on that occasion. Cork going up. Banks finds Barham. Simpson. And Paul Lake winning the throw for Manchester City. Keen to do well this afternoon, Paul Lake. Hinchcliffe sweeps the ball out to the flank where David White spends his time. Adcock, good ball forward towards Stewart. Stewart has a crack at goal, and that's number 2. Paul Stewart's 9th goal of the season. Perfectly finished off. He received the ball just inside the penalty area, looked up to see where the goalkeeper was, and then fired it to the goalkeeper's right. And with 29 minutes on the clock, City go 2-0 in front. And a goal like this just goes to enhance Paul Stewart's growing reputation. And Huddersfield Town will have to go some way now to get back into this game. One goal is never a confident lead. City now can relax a little. Kidman competitive in the tackle. Shearer. The ball hitting Tony Adcock. I don't think he knew much about that one. A free kick for the foul on Webster. Quickly taken by Banks. Once again caught the man involved. Shearer with the shot. Well, that was never going to trouble Eric Nixon. Duncan Shearer with 24 goals last season. And already 11 goals in a struggling side this season. An impressive tally by anybody's standards. Stewart trying to bring the ball under control. But an offside flag, possibly against David White, or it could have been Neil McNabb. Stewart looking for some support to his right. Gets it from Gidman. Another little flick that by Paul Lake. Huddersfield playing themselves out of trouble. Banks. Brown. Good flick by Banks. Once again, it's Shearer with the shot. That's 2 shots from Shearer that were never really going to trouble that City goal. But Huddersfield will have to get a goal quickly. Stewart. Simpson just inside him to the right. Hinchcliffe on the overlap. Adcock in the middle. Tony Adcock gets his 100th goal of his career. His first league goal for Manchester City. Hinchcliffe it was who crossed the ball, and a sweet header from Tony Adcock. And just look at the pleasure on his face. It was a beautiful cross from Andy Hinchcliffe, the goalkeeper committed to go the other way, and Tony Adcock makes it 3-0. And we still only have 34 minutes of this game, but here's Huddersfield with a chance. Winter skies that one way over the bar. This is the chance going over the bar. Indeed, Huddersfield should have done better really from that one. Header from Lake. Simpson, a little bit of a rub of the ball there. Stewart's making a run through the middle. Simpson's cross, Adcock in the middle. But this time, Brian Cox was good enough to hold that one. And Tony Adcock could so easily have added another goal. Simpson's cross hung in the air invitingly for Tony Adcock, but he couldn't quite get the power into that one. And Brian Cox with a good save, and he had to hold it as well with the menacing figure of Paul Stewart coming in. Here's Lake. Ball swept out to the right where Gidman awaits. That's the sign of confidence. Adcock, still Tony Adcock. Couldn't quite get the cross in. Possibly Gidman can. But he couldn't get past Shearer. John Gidman can throw the ball quite some distance. And he decides not to this time. Left foot cross from Gidman, not his strongest side, and it goes over everybody. Paul Lake. That's header from Redmond. Andy May with the header. Cork. May again. Cut out fairly easily that time by Steve Redmond. Kenny Clements, John Gidman and Neil McNabb, that core of experienced professionals that I was talking about. That's a nice flick by Simpson. He gets a return ball. The cross cut out. Simpson forced to go towards the middle. No, he's forced to go back outside again. Brown after him. White in the middle. David White with his 5th goal of the season. Paul Simpson worked wonders then really on the left. He went down the left initially, was forced back, and this was his 2nd run. He whipped the ball viciously over David White. Well, it wasn't quite as easy as it looked. He was slightly off balance, but from 2 or 3 yards out, he makes it 4-0. This is Simpson getting the crossover, and White in the middle. And an impressive scoreline with half-time approaching. 41 minutes on the clock when that 4th goal went in. David White will be pleased with that goal. Stewart running into one too many Huddersfield players. And a chance here for Adcock. Possibly had more time than he thought then. Tony Adcock tried the chip towards the far side. Well, he slightly miscued that one. May have just hit a divot. I think it did, looking on that again. The ball raising over the bar. This is Barham. Cross towards the far side. Nixon had to be sharp off his line then. Andy May it was coming in at the far post. Harry Nixon playing with lots of confidence these days. This was a cross from Barham, and Nixon quickly over his goal. And Cork will keep this one in play. Bray, upended by David White. Huddersfield might be thinking of getting a goal back before half-time. But time has run out for Huddersfield in the first half at least. City with goals from Neil McNabb, Paul Stewart, Tony Adcock and David White. And that means that City lead at half-time by 4-0. And what a difference it could have made if David Cork's shot early on in the game had gone in, but it wasn't to be. This was the goal that gave Tony Adcock 100 league goals. Andy Hinchcliffe's cross finished off by Tony Adcock. So Mel Machin presumably was more than satisfied with how the first half went, and Malcolm MacDonald, no doubt, with some harsh words for his Huddersfield Town defence, and they'll be looking to improve on the first half display. Redmond under some pressure from Ian Banks. Now an offside flag this time. Free kick from Walford. Banks gives the ball to David White. Huddersfield win the ball back. A bit scrappy at the moment. Clemence's ball forward. Stewart's in pursuit. Can't get behind Steve Walford. Paul Stewart. Huddersfield now moving forward. Fine tackle from Paul Lake. May. And David White. David White has added a lot more determination to his game, certainly in a defensive sense, during the course of his influence from Mel Machin. Gidman's throw, helped on by David White. Gidman again. City just can't get it away from that right flank at the moment. The ball chipped in, the header was from Hinchcliffe, and that'll be a corner to Huddersfield Town. Or whatever Malcolm MacDonald said at half-time, it seems to be doing the trick, because Huddersfield, who started the first half brightly, resuming where they left off at the end of the little spell at the beginning of the first half. Header from Shearer, headed off the line by Gidman, and away in the end from Steve Redmond. Walford. If Huddersfield do manage to get a goal, they've still got a mountain to climb, of course, but they're giving it their all at the moment. Hinchcliffe. Adcock. And an offside flag against Paul Simpson. This was the header, which John Gidman kept out with that header off the line. McNabb, that's a good ball out to John Gidman. Pokes it forward, McNabb, David White's in there. Huddersfield get it away for the time being. And now Andy May on the break. Barham in support on the right. Brown's cross. Brown again. Banks. Now David White cut out the threat from Julian Winter. Andy May. Shearer's cross. Headed out by Clements and Simpson. Couldn't quite get to the ball then before. Malcolm Brown. Cork. Brown. Hinchcliffe closed down the space for Brown. City fiercely competitive in the tackle. The ball being swept out to the left again. Winter. Gidman. Simpson. The cross coming in on the far side, it's Tony Adcock. A tremendous finish from Tony Adcock. His second goal of the afternoon. Just 8 minutes into the second half and City notch up 5. Paul Simpson again the supplier. The cross fell invitingly for Tony Adcock, who hit it on the volley. And City now look as if the 3 points safely tucked up. Brian Cox didn't quite know whether to come or to stay. Adcock had buried the ball convincingly. And the game now really all but over as a competitive event. Here's Stewart. Trying to go all the way on his own, Paul Stewart. Simpson with a shot. And Cox gets his body behind it. And City threatening to run rampage here. Most of the second half to go at, and Paul Simpson fancying getting on the goal sheet himself after setting up a couple of goals for his colleagues. But to Huddersfield's credit, they keep going. And the Hinchcliffe had to be quickly off the mark then. Stewart. Still Paul Stewart. Very difficult man to shrug off the ball. And in the end he was shrugged off the ball. And Huddersfield captain Ian Banks, the man who did it. Clements and Gidman tidying up. Stewart. John Gidman making the overlap for David White. Stewart with a lovely turn. Lake, Stewart in the middle, hits the goalkeeper's legs. David White fires in a shot. It was an infringement anyway. Lovely turn by Stewart initially. Paul Lake got the cross in. Stewart was there again. David White had a crack, but I think it was an offside against Paul Stewart. Well, the City supporters in fine voice, and so they should be. Here's Adcock. McNabb was making a run for him. Simpson will try to keep this ball in, which he does. Overcomes the cross, it's deep, it's Paul Stewart. And that's number 6. Paul Stewart's 10th goal of the season. And his 2nd goal of the game. A good deep cross from Paul Simpson, and Stewart headed it back towards the corner where the ball had come from. And Paul Stewart and Tony Adcock possibly thinking about hat-tricks now. Both players have 2 goals. This was the cross again from Simpson. The perfect textbook goal, I suppose you would call this one. Right into the far corner of the goal. That Paul Stewart goal coming on 67 minutes. Well, less than half an hour to go. But City will be delighted with a 6-0 scoreline. And Tony Adcock dispossessing Webster. And that's a hat-trick for Tony Adcock. Well, what a dream return to the side for Tony Adcock. He's had a couple of games this season. Probably only starting the game today because of that injury to Imre Varadi. And this was a goal he made for himself. Webster tried to recover, and Adcock with a clinical finish makes it 7-0. He ran across Webster, made the perfect angle for himself, chipped it over the legs of Cox, and a hat-trick to Tony Adcock. Just a minute after Paul Stewart had made it 6, Tony Adcock made it 7. And still City pour forward. Stewart. And a corner. Huddersfield must be feeling pretty demoralised at the moment. Everything going Manchester City's way. Simpson and McNabb to take the corner between them. Here's Simpson. And the ball hitting Julian Winter. McNabb. Gidman makes a run for him. Simpson. McNabb out to Gidman eventually. And David White to get the cross in. Stewart does well. And then he missed kick completely. Paul Stewart, of course, looking for a hat-trick himself now. And he can see the funny side of that one himself, I think. City can afford to miss chances now with the game all but won. Blake. And Clements keeps the ball in, but only for Andy May, who eventually gives the ball back to City via a throw-in. And a big smile on the face of Andy May as well. Surely he can't be enjoying a 7-0 defeat. Here's Stewart. White making a run for him outside. Here's White. And the ball put behind for another Manchester City corner. David White has tremendous pace down that right-hand side. At that time he couldn't get his cross over. Paul Lake, in fact, it was who got the near post header. And a shot from Steve Redmond. Banks. Banks with a shot, but it was straight at Eric Nixon. Ian Banks, £40,000 signing from Leicester City, in spite of his team's poor performance, has been Huddersfield Town's outstanding player this afternoon. Adcock, confident back heel to Stewart. Stewart still going, and another corner to Manchester City. Simpson's cross. Cox comes to the near post. Banks. The ball hitting the hand of Paul Lake. Brown. And Clements had to be alert then. Duncan Shearer was right behind him. A long kick from Eric Nixon. Shearer's header. Cork. City with a slight let off then is McNabb. Adcock, Hinchcliffe on the overlap. Lots of space here for Andy Hinchcliffe. The cross, Stewart. Well, he won't have an easier goal than that, and that's Paul Stewart's hat-trick. 9 minutes to go, and Paul Stewart makes it 8-0. A remarkable scoreline and 2 hat-tricks in a game. Hinchcliffe made the run, square cross, and Paul Stewart with a simple task of tapping that one into a virtually empty net. Hinchcliffe's pace carrying him into a beautiful position. The goalkeeper once again committed himself, and Stewart makes it 8-0. That makes Paul Stewart the joint leading scorer now with Imre Varadi. And the City fans urging every move forward now from City. As we reach the dying moments of this game. And the death, metaphorically speaking, being that of Huddersfield Town. Stewart. Adcock, and the City fans thought that another goal was on them, but an offside flag denies the Blues. A sign then possibly of the desperation in Huddersfield. Michael McDonald must be very disappointed with the way things are going for his side. The City fans calling for 10 goals. And a shot from Banks once again. And again a dejected look on his face. He will go down in history as the captain of the side which lost 8-0. Surely one of Huddersfield's heaviest defeats. And those Huddersfield Town fans doing their club credit, supporting their team in spite of the scoreline. And not surprisingly, the City fans making most of the noise. Redmond, Stewart, Redmond's header forward. Banks. Intercepted by Clements. And Gidman starts another charge. David White on the overlap. City throw, quickly taken by White. Here's Stewart. Tried to turn inside. Steve Walford. Cross comes over from Gidman. And that will be another Manchester City corner. Simpson takes the ball short, gets it back from John Gidman, whips over the cross, goes way over everybody. Paul Stewart tries to keep the ball in, he does, but it only goes to Malcolm Brown. Well, after a fairly disappointing 1-1 draw, disappointing from the result, that is, against Middlesbrough midweek, City has certainly bounced back this afternoon. McNabb pushes the ball forward, Adcock's onside, Lake's making a run through the middle. The shot was blocked, in came David White, and that makes 9. Just 5 minutes to go and David White makes it an incredible 9-0. Adcock raced forward, he wasn't offside. Steve Walford blocked the shot. And then David White fired in for his second goal of the game, Manchester City's 9th. This was Walford sticking the leg out. It only fell into the path of David White and he fired in to make it 9-0. And now the City fans calling for 10 goals. And one or two people in the crowd might be thinking in terms of a record scoreline. City have hit 10 goals plus only twice, and never this century. 11-3 the record victory over Lincoln back in 1895. 10-0 against Darwin, also in Division 2 in the last century. And the City fans on the Kippax, in fact all round the ground, will be urging City forward to try and hit double figures. And how ironic that the first real chances of the game went to Huddersfield. Blake. Banks. Huddersfield still going forward. Bray gets past Gidman. And Gidman blocking Ian Bray then. A little bit of bad temper. A shame to spoil this game now, which has been played with no signs of trouble from either team. A fair, if slightly one-sided game. A free kick then will be taken by Ian Bray himself. In fact, in the end, it's Julian Winter. Brown trying to get the cross in. Brown once again. Barron was on the overlap. Brown gets the cross in, and David White back in his own penalty area tidies up, getting the ball back to big Eric Nixon. And City going forward. The crowd will urge them forward for this 10th. Gidman, David White on the overlap. White's cross, and that goes behind for another Manchester City corner. Possibly City's last chance to get this goal with time running out. We're into the last couple of minutes now. McNabb's cross. Up goes Redmond. Up Brian Cox collects it under his bar. And that may have been City's last chance. Cork was making a run through the middle then. Here's Barham. And a push by Gidman on Cork. And that's a penalty to Huddersfield Town in the last minute of the game. So the City fans' thoughts of 10 come to an end, because now Huddersfield could spoil City's day by destroying Eric Nixon's clean sheet. And Andy May, the former Blue, has the chance to score the goal, which he does. Andy May's second goal of the season. I don't know if he's the normal penalty taker, but he put this one away like an expert. And some consolation then for Andy May on his return to Main Road. The incident involving the man who missed the chances early on, David Cork. Simpson's ball forward. In the end though, that Huddersfield goal isn't going to help the men from Leeds Road unless they can get another 8 in the last minute. Simpson's ball forward. David White with only the goalkeeper to beat. He gets round him, a chance to make it 10. And David White with a hat-trick and double figures for Manchester City. That will please their supporters. David White understandably delighted. I wonder what was running through his mind when he went round the goalkeeper. Ian Banks running back, but David White made no mistake. It looked as if possibly the goalkeeper Cox tried to bring down David White, but he kept his head, and a perfect finish. And there goes the final whistle. A day I'm sure will go down in history. The Manchester City supporters here this afternoon will remember it for a long, long time to come. The perfect display, and maybe a sign of things to come from City's young teenagers. 3 hat-tricks, David White, Tony Adcock and Paul Stewart, and an incredible final scoreline of Manchester City 10, Huddersfield Town 1.